speed ramping is an effect that is used quite a lot in, say, music videos, in any kind of B-roll that's to music, that you kind of want to push the feeling of the music. And high frame rate video is best to do this, because we can play with the speed of it. High frame rate obviously being the fact that you can turn it into slow-mo or have it at normal speed. However, the example that I'm going to show you isn't to the music, but it's part of a music video. And the music video that we're talking about is one that we've talked about before, and that is Forrest Gump Funk by Scott Comanche. Now, I have mentioned this in earlier chapters. We shot this whole music video, and it was so much fun. We've done a number of music videos with him since, but this is Forrest Gump Funk. And the whole premise of this is that you do whatever you want. In fact, the title is Forrest Gump Funk, I Do What I Want Now. And I'm going to take this section. In fact, if I just zoom up a little bit, can I find it? There's far too many channels on here. I think it's actually down here. Yeah, it's just after here. So it's here. It's actually this nested sequence here. I'm going to show you from here just to kind of put it in perspective. So we started first. Let me just mute this and let me just scrub so I can show you. So we started with this bit, which was kind of establishing the scramble bike. So he's in a completely different outfit. He has a pink Power Ranger right behind him having a dance, which turned out to be his auntie. We have these scramble bikes around. So that was kind of like the setup. Then we had a close-up of a bit of nodding to the music. The kid down here, I think he's called Harley. Great little kid. And these lads were brilliant. They were so good on their bikes. And as a result, we were able to get this shot. So it's this bike coming flying over and then down. Thing is, there's a bit of speed ramping in here. And there actually isn't. I did a cheat of a speed ramp, but I'll show you the cheat that I did. And it was just really for time more than anything, because it was a last minute thing. And I thought, oh, that would go good there. And we had to deliver a draft quickly. And the client loved it, so we just left it. I thought, well, if it ain't broke, don't try and fix it. But I'll show you what I did, and then I'll show you how better to do it, if that makes any sense. So let me play this through. And what you're looking at for this bit is as it goes kind of real time and then slows down, then comes out to it back in real time. That's kind of the speed ramp effect. But let me just unmute this, and you're looking for around here. In fact, I'll put a little marker for you here so you can see where it's coming up. But this puts it in perspective. Okay, so that's the bit that we wanted. We wanted to kind of get that moment, and to show you there, I'm going to go into, I've actually copied the nested sequence over to here, because if I start playing around with the nested sequence, it will start to create problems in the main edit. And although it's been sent to the client, yeah, I want it there just in case we ever have to do anything. So let me just right click and clear in and out. And let me just show you this without anything. So we've got this running real time, and then we're slowed, and then we're down. You can see there's actually 3 clips. Let me just go and show you kind of the behind the scenes of this, because this drone clip, if I, that's the whole drone clip, I think. Yeah, is it? Yeah, it's completely, there's nothing at the beginning. No. And this whole drone clip was over 5 minutes long, 5.5 minutes long. And I was up just flying. I'm a licensed commercial drone pilot as part of what we offer our clients. And if we just kind of play this through, I'm down on the ground somewhere kind of down here, just lower the camera. And the important thing with regards to droning is the fact that you kind of keep you and what you're filming and where the drone is kind of in mind. You can't just blindly be looking at the screen unless you've got a spotter. And I'll explain why when we get to this point. But we had little Harley come along the course, and just started like kind of getting things in line. And I know this is the shot I want, but I'm not too sure where I need to be. So I took a few trial runs, and I know that the bigger lads are kind of going around at this point. So if I scrub forward, I'm checking all my settings. I'm checking my footing. There's another bike going down there. And now I think, right, okay, I kind of want to be here. And then I saw the bike coming through and I thought, oh, yeah. And I started to panic a little bit. And I thought, oh, I don't want to get too close. So these things, although you can get a happy accident and get it in the first take. It's not often the case. So this is the shot where I'm kind of getting close. I think, right, okay, maybe I can get a little bit closer. And I'm watching this guy going around, not only on the screen of my tablet, but also here. And I thought, right, okay, that was all right. I kind of lifted as he moved, and I didn't really want any kind of altitude move while I was there. So here I am again, trying to run the shot. And okay, that was okay, but still wasn't close enough. And we are shooting in 4K. So I knew that I could zoom in if I needed to, but in all honesty, I wanted as much quality as possible, really. So yeah, I kind of just perceived, probably not the right word, but I really kind of worked at it. And I thought, do you know what? Let's just try and play around a little bit, get some more shots, and come back there when I feel a little bit more comfortable. And this is important if you're working with stock footage, or you've been footage that has been sent to you. The important thing to do is to look at all of the footage, because you may think, oh yeah, that's okay. And back there, it looked like a good shot, but a couple of them, his head was going out. I think his head goes out again. So I start to think, yeah, okay, well, I can't film it looking down. I have to be looking straight at the very least. And the drone that I was flying on this day, it was the original Mavic Air, actually, from DJI, and I can't angle up at this point. I knew I was really close there, and I looked up just before and I thought, oh, need to move a little bit. Don't really want anyone crashing in. The great thing is these guys wearing helmets, and in all honesty, the biggest effect from anyone hitting the drone is that the drone will be broken, but that's fine. So here at this point, I think, right, okay, gimbal needs to be absolutely straight. So let's get it straight. And I see this guy coming around here, and I think, is that the guy that does the kind of side lean? So I thought, yeah. So I'm getting close. I know where I want to be. And so I just start following him and starting coming back. And that was my shot. Now the thing is, in the actual camera, you think, have I got that shot? So I did go back. There's me. There's me. I'm actually using a tablet there. As you can see, I've got my full kit on my back because we had the camera and the gimbal and all that. And I didn't want to leave it anywhere, and there's dust everywhere. So I closed up everything and just made sure I wasn't in the way. And obviously I stood somewhere where I wasn't, or I was less likely to get hit by anyone. And I think, yeah, that was my shot. I was confident of it. So I didn't kind of go again. And as you can see on this side, I did actually try a little bit just in case. Is there? And I thought, nah. And I thought, do you know what? I've got it in the bank. And I was really confident at that. So with that shot got, here we are back again. And I'm just going to duplicate that up. And if I play it out here, let me just put a mark here to see where I'm at. And then we go up to there. Okay, you see how that mark affects that mark because it's the same clip. Always handy. And yeah, so this is the shot in real time. We can tell it's real time because if we right click and go to speed duration, we're 100 frames a second. We're at 100%. If I reveal in project, I can see that we're shooting at 59.94, which is, it's effectively 60 frames a second. And we're playing in real time. So this is it in real time. And I thought, oh, that's what I want to do. I want to kind of slow it down for a moment. So that's what I did. I took the clip and as you can see, I cut it. So let's kind of just play with this. I'm just going to close it off and now I'm going to lock it. And I know that I cut it there. So this is the lazy version of actually speed ramping. Let me just put another mark here. So it's there. Okay. So what I did, if I lock that up again, what I did is I took this and I thought, right, this is where I want to slow it down. So I cut it there. I then started to drag for that moment. I thought, right, okay, that's all I want. So then I cut it again there. And then I moved this up to about here, and I right clicked this, went to speed duration and went 25%. So I took it to 25% length. And here is this secret. As you can see, it kind of, if you look here, it's not quite. I slowed it down more than it should be because we're at 60 frames a second and we're outputting at 25 frames a second. I can only really slow it down by about 50%. Anything lower than 50% and I'm kind of close to being too slow. And the secret in Premiere Pro is to right click the clip, go to time interpolation and make sure it's on optical flow. If I'm on frame sampling and I play that back, you see how it's stuttering. Watch it again. And even if I pre-render this, clear that out, thank you. If I play this back and watch, you see how it's, I hope you can see it. Let me tilde this out. It looks like it's stepping and you don't want that. So if you, it doesn't work for everything. But this can really save your bacon. If you right click and go to time interpolation and optical flow, what it will do is it will make it much smoother. It flows better. So I knew I could get away with that. So that's how I did it. Straight up, boom, and slow down again. So that is the cheat way of speed ramping. And if that works for you, cracking, go for it. However, the correct way to do it, have I still got the marks up here? Yeah, I have. Okay, cool. Don't have to do that. Let's come up here and let's turn back on this track. He's up there. So let's go back to about here. And let's just, no. What I'm doing here is I'm holding down Shift and making these clips taller. And that's really important for speed ramping. You'll see why very shortly. So I know that at this point, I want to slow it down about there. I actually want to slow it down a little bit earlier. I want to slow it down about there. I don't really want these markers left. So I'm actually going to go up to the source and just clear markers so they're all off. Cool. So I'm going to put some new markers of my own. So I'm just going to go maybe to about there. Maybe get it as he's going up. I'm just going to put a marker there. So with the clip selected, press M on the keyboard. I'm probably going to go to about there, just as you're about to go down, and then we kind of continue down. Right. So to be able to do this all in one clip, it's really quite simple. And I'm not too sure why I didn't do it before. Maybe it was just a little bit of laziness. But on the clip, anywhere on the clip, you just right click and we want to go to Show Clip Keyframes. Then we go down to Time Remapping and Speed. Now what you're looking for is this line here. You see this line here, just like with the music, it's the actual level at first and you can change it to pan. This actually sets the opacity. See how that, if I go into my effects controls, you can see that I've turned down the opacity to 11.9%. Drag it all the way up to the top, it's 100%. You can't get it past, actually. It's all the way at the top. You can't get more than 100% for opacity. So what we want to do is we want to right click, keep looking at this line because it'll change. Right click down to time remapping and speed. Click on that. And all of a sudden we have a line going right through the center because through the center is 100%. Anything above it is faster. Anything below it is slower. What does that mean? Well, let me show you. If I hold down Alt and scroll in a little bit, just so we've got a little bit more room to move. We've put these markers. This is the best workflow for us, so we know kind of where we're working. I'm just going to put one marker here. The way to do that, let me just move out that. Just here, I'm going to hold down Alt, Control on the keyboard and click. You see how it gives me a plus when I'm over the line? Click that and it gives me a marker right through there. Let me just explain what that is in a minute. I'm going to do another one and put a little marker there. Now these work very similar as the handles in color, in as much as I like to try and draw parallels because it helps. If I had just two markers and I move this down, it would move everything. You see how it's moving everything? If I just had one, it would move everything. However, if I've got three markers, if I go maybe click there and click there, I'm now just moving within these two markers. Does that make sense? And with that premise, we kind of apply that kind of similar premise to this with the time remapping. We've put a marker there, we've put a marker here. So if we move anything here, it just does to the left of that line. If we do anything here, it does anything to the right of that line. However, if we do anything here, it only affects between the two markers, between the two marks that we've placed. So let's put this in perspective. Once we start grabbing this line and dragging it down, you see how we've got a percentage? Also look to the right hand side and that marker starts moving away, because what we're doing is we're slowing down time. And we know we can take this down to about 25% and we'll be okay. But let's just take it down to maybe about 50%. Yeah, go on, okay, so that's 50%. So now what we've done, if we play that through, we're going 100%, 50%, and then down. Now, as you can see, 50% doesn't really make much of a difference. So we are going to go down to 25%. That's why I must have done that, because I didn't really feel much of a change. So let's get it down to 25%. Let go. Play that back. That's better. Now, did you notice it was on frame sampling? So if we're playing it back, don't like it. So if we go and we right click, time interpolation and optical flow, save my bacon. Good. So that is time remapping. But as you can see, just like when we cut it, we've got normal, 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 abrupt stop, and then abrupt start again. Now that's the effect that I wanted to go for. I like that, but we can change that. If we zoom right the way into here and we click on one of these, we now have what looks like a blue mark, but actually these are two marks. If we grab one, maybe the left one, and start pulling it out, that now affects how long it takes to get from one speed to another. It's creating a ramp, a speed ramp. That's where the term comes from. So now if we play that back, it actually slows down. It doesn't just change speed, it slows down through it. And if we click again, we're now given this handle. And if we start to drag this handle, it will change the curve. If we make this a little bit taller, you can see. Let me just tilde this actually so you can see properly. If we, you see how it's affecting the curve? So we can make that ramp as gradual or as abrupt as we want to. This would be the same as when they were both straight together. However, as we've dragged this out, you can see it gives us more of a smoothing in to the slow-mo. And if we drag this out and give it a little bit more room, and I tilde it out, play that back, see how he slowly slows down and then he speeds up again. Let's just do the same on this one. Drag it out quite a bit, give it a little bit of a ramp. It says a little bit, a lot of it. I'm going to set O there, I there, and just pre-render that. And if we play that back now, we're normal speed, normal speed, normal speed, and then we're going to ramp down to slow it and then speed up. You see the difference when it speeds up. It's like he just drops out. It's almost like gravity takes over more. Whereas if we look at the first one, it just drops out. It's subtle. And I guess that's why in this quick fix, it didn't really matter. But if it's a piece of music that has like an instant like drop like that, no, maybe not instant, but gradual, maybe something like this, and that will be better because it eases in. And yeah, it's a great technique is speed ramping, and when done correctly, it can really make a difference. But what I want to say, just to finish this bit up, because I know it's only a quick little tidbit, but the most important thing is, if you're doing this, even if you're not slowing it down to a point where you shouldn't be doing, like we're down to, what were we on here? We're on like, 25%. Maybe if we take it down to, let me show you, 11%. Let's just pre-render that out again. And I'm confident, I've never taken it down this slow on this clip, but if I'm confident that it's at least going to be usable. And what's making that happen is optical flow. If I go back to frame sampling and pre-render that again, you can do as much pre-rendering as you want, but watch this now. It will look absolutely garbage, unless that's the effect you're going for. But I mean, seriously, that is the exact same footage, the exact same shutter speed. And the thing is, when you come back to 100%, it makes it stand out even more. Watch, because we're ramping out, it's so smooth to come out that it's like, well, that just kind of loses it. So the most important thing to take away from this, other than the technique to speed ramp, is optical flow. Honestly, it can make footage that you don't think is going to work with the effect you want work brilliantly. Speed ramping. It's good, isn't it?